on the topic of advertising, is there any checklist that you will do before starting the advertising?
Every single week I answer the question of, hey, what do I do when I'm starting advertising? I always have the same answer. Competitor research. Couple of exact campaigns, 1 or 2 phrase campaigns, maybe a broad campaign, and get yourself an auto catch-all campaign. 5 to 10 keyword targets max per ad group. That is my go-to all time. The biggest thing though that I see people mess up is that when they're doing keyword research for ad, they don't stop to consider which of their competitors they should be looking at and going after and looking at their keyword. A lot of time, people will either have this mentality that their product is so different from their competitors that they don't need to use competitors targeting or competitor keyword research to be able to go after them, or they have this idea that it doesn't make sense to go after competitors because, you know, then the competitor is going to come after them. That's just not true. That's not how Amazon works. They're going to come after you anyways. It doesn't matter. Pick your competitors correctly. Make sure they are an actual competitor to you, right? If you're selling a computer cleaner and you're going after someone who is selling a dustpan or something, right? Like, they both probably have dust in the keywords or in their keywords, but that doesn't mean they're a competitor to you, right? So that's the type of thing where I think a lot of people get a little too in the weeds about what is and what isn't relevant, and they really miss what relevancy actually means. And it's just, put yourself in the shoes. What are you going to search for if you're wanting to buy your product? Do not do something that is super low search volume with only 20 people looking for it per month. That doesn't work for you.
And let's assume that the product is a consumable. You know, we want to build that customer base, right, to get the repeat purchase. So what tools you will use within Amazon to build that customer base?
Subscribe and save first and foremost. Anyone who doesn't do subscribe and save with a consumable, I'm just like, why? It's like you're hoping that they come back to you. No, stop that. Yeah, so subscribe and save first and foremost, but past that as well, I would probably look at doing frequently things like brand tailored promotion. So brand tailored promotions actually just got a new look and feel and a bunch of new targeting options. There are a lot of options for growing your brand, whether it's proactively or even trying to get brand cart banners, which is a super easy thing to do. And yeah, you're going to lose a little bit of profitability going after them, but it really is the best thing to do to look at your brand analytics and take a very long understanding of what each section of brand analytics means from an audience targeting platform and go after specific audience groups, because it can help immensely, especially with things like consumables where you're trying to have, you know, long-term growth of the brand.
I want to ask you about B2B. How can we optimize your listing for B2B?
I think this is one of the more difficult things on Amazon. It really comes down to category. We have obviously a lot of different brands we work with, right? And, you know, I've worked with hundreds at this point. And the biggest thing, especially now that Amazon has like essentially nuked their ability for doing like business quotes and things like that, because people who aren't selling B2B, who don't know, back in the day, you used to be able to, if you have a business account, go on to products and like offer and essentially haggle people for like quotes of, hey, I want 10 of these and I'll pay you, instead of $50, I'll pay you $42 a unit. And it's like, it's insane that that used to be a thing that you could do. And there is still some accounts that I think you have the ability to, but they're largely phasing that out from Amazon at this point in time. And so the big aspect when it comes to growing and building a B2B business on Amazon is you have to know your audience and how they look for the product very, very well, because you cannot go after the same exact type of targeting as anything that's B2C. I think a great example is if you're selling like OSHA approved life jackets, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be specific OSHA compliance documentation and keywords that people are looking for. They're not going to be searching for the keyword life jacket, and that's not going to be your target audience. They're going to be searching for OSHA 3HB approved life jacket, right? And that's how you need to really go after, is know your audience with whatever you're selling super, super well.